All right, welcome to Buy or Buy. Today we are tackling an absolute legend, the 2015 to 2020 Shelby GT350. The question is simple, but the answer, not so much. Is this thing a future classic you need to snap up right now? Or is it a ticking time bomb, a high-maintenance money pit you should absolutely steer clear of? Let's dig in and find out. You know, for decades, the Ford Mustang playbook was pretty straightforward, right? You got a big, burly, rumbling, cross-plane crank V8. It was the sound of American muscle. Simple, reliable. Then, in 2015, Ford just threw the whole rulebook out the window. They did something nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming. They built a Mustang that, honestly, shouldn't even exist.
And this is why. Just look at that number. 8,250 RPM. Let that sink in. That is not a muscle car redline. That's not even close. That is full-on, screaming European exotic territory. This wasn't just rewriting the rulebook. Ford lit the old one on fire.
So, how on earth did they pull that off? Well, it all comes down to this, a flat, plain crankshaft. This right here is basically the secret sauce from companies like Ferrari. It's what gives their cars that signature, high-pitched, spine-tingling wail. And Ford, in a moment of glorious madness, decided to inject that exotic DNA straight into the heart of a Mustang. They called the engine Voodoo, and believe me, the sound it made, it was pure black magic.
But of course, with magic like that, there's always a catch, isn't there? That Voodoo engine had a bit of a curse. When you push the engineering envelope that far, that fast, you're bound to run into some, let's just say, some serious growing pains, especially in those first couple of years.
So let's get right into the scary stuff, the Voodoo's known issues. Okay, first up, the early 2016 models had some pretty serious oil starvation problems, especially if you took them to the track. We're talking catastrophic engine grenading failure. On top of that, pretty much all the pre-2018 engines were known for drinking oil. And then there was the big one, a critical recall for oil cooler lines that could fail, leak oil everywhere, and potentially start a massive fire. Yeah, that was the reality check for a lot of early owners.
Okay, but here's the upside. The car's been out for a while, so these problems are very well known. And when a problem is known, it can be managed. So here's your pre-purchase checklist. Rule number 1, you're going to want to target a 2017 or newer model. That's when Ford rolled out revisions to the oil system that fixed a lot of these headaches. Number 2, you have to verify that the oil cooler recall was completed. No exceptions. And 3, if you buy one, checking that oil level becomes a ritual. It's not optional, it's not a suggestion, it is absolutely mandatory. All right, so let's say you navigate the engine issues. You're still not out of the woods, financially speaking, because now you have to deal with what we call the Shelby tax. You got to remember, this is basically a track car for the street, and that means it comes with track car running costs.
And wow. Yeah, this slide pretty much says it all. Look at these numbers. The standard brakes are already what I'd call spendy. We're talking $3 to $5 grand for a full replacement. But if the car you're looking at has the optional carbon ceramics, oh boy. You could be looking at $15,000, $20,000, even $25,000 for a brake job. That is not a typo. My advice, unless you have a platinum credit card with no limit, just avoid those.
Next up, the tires. Now, on a standard GT350, it's not too bad. You get about 15,000 to 20,000 miles, which is reasonable. But if you step up to the GT350R, that's a whole different story. Those cars come with super aggressive, track-ready Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s. And if you drive the car like it's meant to be driven, you could be looking at a new set of tires in just 5,000 to 8,000 miles. That adds up fast.
Oh, and the fun doesn't stop there. Those fancy MagneRide shocks, they are brilliant, but they don't last forever. Expect to pay $500 to $800 per corner when they go. And the GT350R's carbon fiber wheels? They are an engineering marvel for sure, but hitting one bad pothole can turn into a $4,000 to $6,000 mistake for one wheel. Even the bolsters on the Recaro seats are known to wear out. See? It's all these little things that stack up.
So, okay, after hearing all of that, I wouldn't blame you if you're asking this exact question right now. You've got potential engine nightmares, running costs that could bankrupt a small country. Is this thing just a complete and utter financial train wreck?
Well, not so fast. Because this is where the entire story flips on its head. You have to stop looking at this car as just a list of expensive problems and start seeing it for what it truly is, a genuine, bona fide future classic. The entire argument for buying this car, it boils down to this one simple, powerful fact. The Voodoo V8 is gone. Forever. Ford is never, ever going to build an engine like this again. It was this brief,
brilliant, insane experiment, and now it's over. So you're not just buying another Mustang, you're buying a unique, unrepeatable piece of automotive history.
And this timeline really hammers that point home. It launched in 2015, and by 2020, it was all over. Just a few short years. That's it. It means this car had an incredibly brilliant life. Honestly, the best time to buy one was 5 years ago. But the second best time? It's right now, before prices really start to climb into the stratosphere.
And just look at what came after it. The newer GT500, it's a monster, but it's supercharged with a totally traditional cross-plane crank. The new Dark Horse, a fantastic car, but it's based on the regular 5.0-liter Coyote engine. Neither of them have that naturally aspirated, screaming 8,250 RPM flat plane soul. That specific experience died with the GT350.
And you don't have to take my word for it. The market is already showing us what's happening. A standard GT350 is still relatively affordable, in that $40,000 to $55,000 range, but the GT350R? We're already seeing clean, low-mileage cars trading for $75,000 or more. They are already on the rise. That is the classic sign of a car becoming a true collector's item.
Okay, so there you have it. We've seen the incredible highs, that glorious engine, and the very real, very expensive lows. We've weighed the risks of ownership against the rewards of that driving experience. It's time to put it all together. Let's make the call. Buy or buy?
You know, I think this statement really captures the essence of this car perfectly. The problems are known. The experience is irreplaceable. And that's exactly it. Yes, there are issues, but they are a known quantity with known fixes. But that feeling, that sound, that experience of ringing it out to over 8,000 RPM, you just can't get that anywhere else.
So, if you are going to pull the trigger, you have to be a smart buyer. Here's the final game plan. Target a 2018 or newer for the best possible version of that engine. Make sure you get a thorough pre-purchase inspection that specifically checks for oil consumption and confirms that the oil cooler recall was done. And please, have a real budget set aside for things like tires, brakes, and those MagneRide shocks. If you can swing it, the R is the one to have, but maybe think twice if you plan on tracking it hard and often. So that brings us to the final conclusion. After weighing all the costs, all the risks, and all the incredible rewards, our verdict on the 2015 to 2020 Shelby GT350 is a very strong, very informed buy.
A huge buy. Look, this isn't just a car, it's an event every single time you start it up. It's your chance to own one of the most special, most audacious, and flat-out greatest performance cars America has ever and likely will ever build. Just make sure you go in with your eyes open and your wallet ready.